Time storm.
There's nothing like that, penis prep!
Yeah, so, I mean, essentially, like, I had to rewatch it a second time over because I got too ripped the first time.
Which seems to be almost a theme. That's happened before.
Yeah, I know, but, like, I've gotten used to it because when I have to watch the shitty movies, I'm not going to watch those sober. That's just not going to fucking happen. Like, I wasn't watching Thunder Force sober.
Yeah, I feel that way, too. It's like, I'll definitely get a few beers.
Couple pops.
I don't think I had any beers while watching Thunder Force, and it was like...
You're a braver soul than I am.
I was sitting there with my fucking knuckle on my forehead, like, when is this gonna be done? I'm so bored. This sucks.
I would murder my stepmom for a beer right now. You don't have a stepmom, exactly.
Oh my god, dark. But this episode is not about thunder porn.
No, it is not about thunder porn or Thunder Force.
Why did your brain go there?
Let's not get into thunder porn, okay? So, I mean, standard intros. I'm Todd.
Hey everybody, I'm Owen.
And today we will be doing the movie Good Boys. Featuring...
It is a movie called Good Boys. Welcome to Movie Labeoufs. This week we watched Good Boys, which was directed by Gene Stupnitsky and Lee Eisenberg, and written by Gene Stupnitsky and Lee Eisenberg. Stars a bunch of kids that I don't think I've ever seen. Have you?
Nope.
Yeah, so I'll just go through who the kids are. The main kid is Max. He's played by Jacob Tremblay. Sorry. Désolé.
C'est correct.
Lucas is played by Keith Williams. Thor.
What badass names.
Is played by Brady Noon. Then there's two girls that are central characters. Hannah played by Molly Gordon. Lily played by Midori Francis. Oh, and there's also the cool kid Soren. Let's give him a shout out. Isaac Wang.
Isaac Wang.
Oh, and Will Forte, of course.
Obviously the Forte
is Max's dad.
Yeah, that was kind of my big bummer about the whole thing, is that, like, the serious lack of Forte.
I agree.
At the very beginning, I was like, oh man, I was like,
because he's also the best part in it, isn't he? Like,
I mean, right
funniest.
right from Jump Street, you're like, oh, sick, like, Forte's in this, and like he's making jokes, and
well, it's funny that you bring up Jump Street because
he's also affiliated with that very.
But right away, like that's the first thing I was thinking and we'll get into this a bit later, but I thought this was very much like a 21 Jump Street movie for kids, basically. Like that's how it felt to me.
I look like young Superbad.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, in Superbad, they're going to a party. There's a lot of things, but I guess it's the drugs aspect is like what the 21 Jump Street thing reminds me of. They're like trying to find out who's drugs, blah blah blah. It had that sort of feeling.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that. Yeah, I mean. Well,
and it's like a comedy.
Well.
And it's a raunchy comedy for kids. Like,
is it though? I couldn't understand what the demographic was for this.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was like, who's the audience here? But I mean, like, not in a bad way, because I feel like it was one of those occasions where it was like, it applies to so many. It's such a broad spectrum of people, right? That it applies to, right?
Yeah, like I don't think
chicks, boys, young kids, parents.
I guess it is weird because the kids in the movie were so young, right?
Yeah, they're supposed to be 12, right?
Yeah, and like you got to think that it's more geared toward adults, right? But it still has that kind of kid plot.
I think he was looking for like some nostalgia for people. They're like, yeah, I remember what it was like to jerk off for the first time, shit like that,
But they didn't have any nostalgia in it other than what it's like to be a kid.
Yeah, I guess, kind of thing, yeah.
Like, there wasn't enough pop culture-y stuff. Like, these are what the kids are into. They didn't really do any of that. They had the, card game. But...
Oh, yeah, they play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, but they even call it something else.
Oh, it wasn't Magic the Gathering?
No, they call it something else. I don't know what it was. Black. I don't think they... they definitely call
Yu-Gi-Oh!
It wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh! No, it's a fake thing they made, for sure. But, yeah, like... In E.T., for example, they play Dungeons and Dragons and call it Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
It's like... And
you're such a Sin Supremacist.
And it's just,
it wasn't like that, penis breath.
It's just very much like they're showing you like what kids are into at the time. Where I don't know if we really get that here. But anyway, we're diving into the plot a little too quick. Let's go back and talk about
what this is all about. So basically, this movie centers around 3 young boys who are coming to age. It's kind of, I believe they're going into what? Middle school?
Yeah.
Yes. So
I think they say grade 6.
Yeah, I think that is middle school, right? Middle school
I
6,
guess.
7,
I don't know.
and 9 in the
8.
States.
What about 8?
I don't know. They seem smart. Maybe they skipped
You
the grade.
skipped 8.
Maybe
Yeah, 6, 7, 8, I believe. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have that here too. We just didn't go to, because it's public school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have middle school.
Oh, okay. Well, either way. So yeah, it basically revolves around like they're going to a kissing party, as I was called, spin the bottle kissing party,
Right.
and one of the main kids is invited, and
The cool kids are having the party.
the cool kids are having the party. One of the main kids of the group is invited, and the other 2 kids don't know that they're not invited, and in their quest to gain knowledge and know more about like the female anatomy and other things,
Learn how to kiss. Yeah.
learn how to kiss. They end up
They spy on 2 girls.
they spy on
with their dad's drone, Max's dad's drone, and who's Will Forte. And Will Forte he's going on like a business trip for the weekend, and he's like, the one thing you can't do is touch my drone.
Don't
because
fuck
it's
with
for
the
work.
drone.
And of course they do, to spy on the girls. Their neighbor, who's like a teenage girl, has a boyfriend, so they want to see how like they kiss or whatever. But then he crashes the drone.
The girls take it. They steal the girl's purse. The girl's purse has drugs in it that they're saving to go to a concert.
MDMA.
And this whole thing becomes they have to trade the drugs for the drone and then
Yes.
get the money to go so the kid doesn't get grounded so he can go to the party. And along the way, hilarity ensues.
And that's basically
it's a coming
the
of
plot.
age story and like, yeah.
Yeah. So it was, this movie, as we said, it was directed and written by Lee Eisenberg and Gene Stupnitsky, who were writers on The Office. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Oh, yeah, there were 2 writers from The Office.
Oh, good for them.
So, yeah, 2 very prominent writers on the show. So
They should have got Kevin to be his dad.
yeah. I mean, it is strange that no one from The Office is in it.
Yeah, if you have a couple writers from The Office, you think you'd like, I don't know, like throw Rainn Wilson a bone, make him the dad, I could see him in that role.
He would be great in that, yeah.
I think he would be, yeah.
Well, Forte was good too, but...
Forte was obviously better, but like...
Better?
Well, we don't know, 'cause we never got to see... We never got to see Rainn Wilson. I don't know what
Rainn Wilson would be funny in that role, for sure.
I think he would be,
But it's not like they need to... But I just know that they're all friends, like, I don't know. Yeah, like they were both on... I listened to Office Ladies podcast, and they're both been on there, and they very much speak about how they're all very good friends and
they also
family
hang out.
and stuff. So I just thought that was odd. But
Why are there so many podcasts about The Office?
yeah,
I was like, Kevin has a podcast. I was like, Office Ladies. There's another one where like there's a former writer also from The Office, not one of these guys. And then there's another 4th one I saw on my Spotify thing. There was like 4 different Office podcasts. And I was like, it was a good show, but I was like,
well, what it is like ever since like it came to Netflix, like new people had started watching it. So The Office is more popular now than it was when it was like on TV.
Well, yeah, because it's the only thing to watch on Netflix, right?
yeah, and like now in the States, Peacock, but we still have.
Yeah.
They took it off Netflix in the States.
We don't have Peacock in Canada,
which is good because we still have
The Office.
We still have The Office on Netflix.
Well, once they take that away, what are they gonna?
Well, I don't think they will take it away in Canada because we don't have Peacock. Peacock's the NBC platform.
Not yet, though.
Is it coming?
I think it is.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah,
well,
maybe.
The MacGruber's about to go up on... MacGruber is going to be on Peacock.
Okay.
So...
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough about Peacock. Eerily similar. What genre would you put this in? Because I was just thinking about that the whole time I was watching it. I was like, is this like a... It's weird because it's with kids.
Yeah.
But it's like... I haven't seen anything like this. Really, kind of.
So, last episode, we talked a bit about the 80s movies with kids in it that are, more, I don't know,
juvenile, like kind of like, but like family friendly. Like, I mean, I don't know.
But also like, I guess they're for kids, but adults could watch them too because they're great. Like E.T. and
The Goonies,
and like, I don't know what genre you would call that, but it's like
kid
Kids on Bikes.
Kids on
movie,
Bikes,
right?
yeah,
Like,
right?
Yeah, Kids on Bikes or whatever.
Because that's literally what it fucking is Kids on Bikes.
Let's call it that. It's like the Stranger Things thing. But
oh yeah, that's how we ended up watching this, because we were like, yeah, Stranger Things. I'm like,
so yeah, that's why we decided to watch this, because we were like, they don't really make movies like that anymore, and we heard about this one. This is kind of like that. But the first thing I want to say about that is that, like, I didn't really get that sense from it. That was my big disappointment in this movie. It was like, it didn't feel like that to me, because it was just this quest for
poon. I mean, kissing, which leads to poon. It's gateway drug, kids. I'll let you know that right now.
But yeah, and the stakes weren't very high in my opinion. And it wasn't like, the other one I wanted to compare this to was Stand By Me, because Stand By Me,
yeah.
Well, Stand By Me is like a more like, it's very regular scenario. It's not E.T. There's no aliens. It's not like whatever Stranger Things. It's just like kids that are
going to find a body,
trying to. It's like what it's like fucking growing up as a kid, and then they get into something way too deep, which is like a fucking, you know, a dead body thing, and then the thing with Ace, Kiefer Sutherland, and shit like that, and it's fucking amazing. So this is more of that. It's like kids, and then they accidentally get their hands on some drugs, but it's not like a big deal.
Do you think these kids will also grow old to do cocaine at the Viper Lounge? Never mind. Sorry, that was bad. Anyway.
And die? I hope not.
I hope not. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is gonna launch like their careers. Like,
it could.
Well, the one kid's in the Mighty Ducks thing, and then the kid with the afro, Lucas. He's in Last Man on Earth with Forte.
Oh, is he? Yeah. Okay, so maybe they knew each other.
He's got a very limited role, but he's in there.
Maybe that's like Forte's like, oh, this kid was good.
Yeah, I think so. That's why Forte brought him on, maybe.
Oh shit! The kid Max, like the main character, was in Room.
Yes, that's him. What's her face?
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson, yes. Yeah, and then he's like I said, the kid who plays Thor is in Mighty Ducks Game Changers now.
Okay.
I think that kid will be big and like.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that they were all like, they were pretty decent.
I think that these kids in like 5 or 6 years are like going to be like Hollywood.
They were
like,
good. Even
Hollywood
the kid Max, like I was surprised by his acting.
Yeah.
Like in certain scenes, he was really good at doing like reaction faces and stuff like that, which is impressive. Like it's
for someone that age, right?
To me it's impressive for like anyone. So especially, I always think about that when I'm watching child actors, because it's like,
did they have it, right?
But that's something that I think would probably be the hardest to do, is like know how to not just do your lines but react to other lines.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, like you've seen that classic footage of forgive me for forgetting his name, the kid who plays Elliot Needs.
Yeah, of course.
Where he does the
audition.
The audition, yeah. Which, like, if you haven't seen it, go like Google it or whatever. Google the actor's name. I can't remember what his name is. Fuck. He wasn't in a lot. He wasn't in a lot. But yeah, you Google his audition for ET, and it's great. And like you can kind of see like that he was like from the hop. Like this kid was like, you were like, okay, this kid's got it, right? Like.
Yeah, but I will say that the actors in those movies, the 80s ones, are better in my opinion. Like,
are they though?
Yeah, like the Goonies, like they're so good.
But is that the actors or the flow or the movie?
That's true, and the directing, like,
and the directing,
But it does seem more genuine in the 80s movies to me. Like they seem like real kids. These kind of,
but maybe that's what real kids are now, and we just don't know that because we're old.
Yeah, I got it.
Because there was a lot of times when I was watching this where I was like, is this what kids do? Like, I was like, but then I'm looking back on it, I'm like, some of it, I'm like, I remember doing this as kids, you know?
Yeah,
like,
some of it.
Yeah, some of it.
Sipping a beer.
Yeah, and like
the three sips. I liked that thing.
Oh yeah, when he's like, he's not gonna sip 3 sips.
They're trying to be cool, and the way to be cool is like have a sip of a beer, and the school record is the cool kid that's had 3 sips. There's
that one fucking the kid who plays Thor. Like he's like, what does he say going into the woods? Where they're like, yo, try the beer, and he's like, if he's gonna chirp me, I'm gonna chirp him back. And the one kid's like, he's like, oh, you're too scared to drink the beer. He's like, shut up, your dad's an alcoholic and he can't drive anymore. And he just rips into the poor kid. I was like, oh, that's savage.
Yeah.
And he does that through the whole movie. He just rips on people, like cuts deep.
Yeah, like real shit.
Yeah, and he rip on that kid a bit later. But one kid's like, shut up, your mom. Everyone knows your mom faked the whole cookbook anyway. And I'm like,
plagiarized
the whole cookbook. Yeah, and I was like, who is this kid? Like they just keep ripping on him.
Ripping on their parents.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like a Lee Eisenberg. And
Maybe it's an inside
speech.
joke.
Yeah, like
so maybe they grew up with somebody like that, or like they know somebody like that, or
yeah. Tonally, like it's very different from The Office. It didn't really have that like cleverness to it, in my opinion.
Oh, I don't think it was about being clever. I think it was just like
I mean, obviously it's very different. They're very different, but yeah, that's true. That's fair.
I think the story was just like literally, it was like a booty quest. Like that's like what it is, right?
Yeah, which is fair, and that's totally what coming of age movies are. Like you compared it to Superbad, that's what that's about. They're a little bit older, they're in high school, but they want to get laid for the first time.
Yeah, they're not about that kissing game.
This is very similar. They're just like they want to kiss a girl for the first time.
What did you think of the girls?
I thought they were all right. I didn't think
they were completely necessary.
Like
obviously they're necessary to the plot.
Yeah, I wanted it to be something else. Them trying to get a drone back from these girls and switch the drugs with them. I didn't really like that whole aspect of the movie.
Yeah, and then one girl like goes and buys it anyway, and like.
But so the strangest thing to me in the whole thing was that they have these like possibly 2 pills of MDMA that these girls.
No, the jar rattles pretty hard.
It does, but it's just. I think they kind of say in dialogue, they imply that it's only like 2 for, and maybe it's like a bit more. But my point is, it's not a giant bottle though. It's like max 6.
Yeah,
right. But they buy in the end a $600 drone to trade for these probably 4 pills of MDMA.
Yeah, like a street value of like $45 or something like that.
Yeah.
But like then again, they're just rich like white girls. Like what the fuck do they care, right? It's
Maybe.
mom and dad's money, right?
I mean, that's true. Yeah,
like,
I didn't really think about that.
Did you notice how all the kids had fucking phones and stuff? And the kids,
Yeah.
one kid's like, I can't use Uber, my mom will know. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I didn't have a cell phone until I was like 17.
But I think that's like legit. Like I think that's how kids are right now. Like they all have phones because.
Why not? I guess.
If your kid
right?
has a phone, then they're safer.
Yeah, you know where they are, right?
Bottom line.
Or maybe
right?
the pedophiles know where they are.
No.
Oh, okay. But no, yeah, there was that was a couple things that like I felt a little disconnected from it, where I was like, I don't remember it being like this. Like,
but it's been 20 years, you know.
Yeah,
like it is different. That's something I was looking for too. I was like, but that's something that's also not as interesting to me, like how kids are now compared to how they were in the 80s.
The way that I noticed I was more out of touch than I thought was the soundtrack, because the soundtrack was all new.
That's
like
fair.
It was all new, like hip hop stuff, and I was like, I have never.
And I think they
heard
probably
any of
tried
this.
to make a soundtrack that was like relatable to the movie the time,
and the kids'
which
age.
might be cool when people watch it in 20 years or 10 years.
Yeah,
Be like, oh, those songs.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know any of them.
Yeah, no, I didn't know half of them. And I was like, not even half. That's being generous. I knew like one of them.
But I wanted to say about that thing where that disconnect thing is like, so it might not be their fault, but in the movies from the 80s, like Kids on Bikes movies, all they had was bikes. So that's why those stories maybe are a little better. All you could do is take your bike and fucking bike to the forest, see a fucking dead body you heard about, or
have them fly you across the forest.
in a bike,
yeah.
over the moon.
And even how E.T. ends, it ends with them on bikes.
Yeah,
like,
well, the whole movie,
which has got to be the best scene in the movie.
So my point is, like, they're limited to the bikes, whereas like in this modern kid movie, like they have phones, like you're saying, they have all these fucking things that they can do.
So it's not going to be kids with bikes anymore. It's going to be kids with phones or kids with drones.
Kids with drones.
Kids with drones.
Is this the first Kids with Drones movie?
It could be. It could be the start of it.
It probably.
We could be looking back at this 20 years later and being like, "Whoa, technology! These guys are ahead of the curve, right?" Like, maybe. I don't know. The fact it did add that modernness to it, but like it was about drones. Like
it was very much. Of the times, and that's good.
Yeah. So I like that. Like they put their stamp on it. They were like, it's not kind of like the old.
They
ones.
put the year 2020 or 2019.
2019 on it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I do like that. I respect that aspect. Yeah. Like I don't like how like now people like they grasp at nostalgia. Right? Now they're just like, yo, you remember this? Do you remember how much like kind of like what Stranger Things did, which is like I get it, but they're just like, hey, you remember the 80s, right? The 80s were cool.
Yeah.
Or what was that? what's that bad one that we, not bad, I would say, but what's that Steven Spielberg movie that we watched? That was the 80s one, the video game one. Player One, Ready Player One.
Yeah.
That one was
right.
That was like, to me, was the epitome of like
reference for reference sake?
Reference for reference sake, for like you know in South Park where they do like the member berries thing and stuff like that. To me,
I remember.
Yeah, I remember member berries. But to me, that movie sums up the epitome of all that, where it's just like reference after reference after reference, and you don't get a second to think, and you're like, okay, I get it. Like,
it's hard to avoid that, I think, when you're doing a thing like Stranger Things where it takes place in the 80s.
Also
If
true.
you grew up in the 80s, you want to be like, oh, put a Thing poster on the wall. I used to love that movie.
Yeah.
Even though the Thing hadn't come out yet when Stranger Things takes place. Yeah. But.
My favorite is the brother, like, not the brother, like, I think it's like season 2 or whatever, when the other guy comes in with like the mullet.
Okay.
The older brother guy,
right.
and he's like working out in his room, and he's smoking a dart, and he's just got like all these Metallica posters behind him. He's gotta kill them all behind him. I was like, yo, this guy's so tough.
Yeah.
He's just smoking darts and working.
But that felt very 80s too to me.
That did, really. And his dad comes in, and he's like, are you ever gonna keep it down? He's like, fuck you, Dad. And he's like, smoking. I was like, yeah, that's like an 80s, like.
Yeah, he's got the muscle car.
Yeah.
That was like
now, I found a link. I just remembered. He was also a writer on Parks and Rec. One of them was a writer, and Donna from Parks and Rec is in it.
Oh yeah, okay.
There you go.
Oh
That's
shit,
what it was.
That's true. Yeah,
I was like, there's got to be fucking one. And it just clicked there. I was like,
all right. So they have one friend. Here's the thing. One thing, like going back to the writers, is like, how do they write a movie? These guys are.
They got to be in their 40s, right?
At least, yeah. I think that's fair to say 40s. Right? So how do you write? Like, I'm sure their kids are the age of...
Yeah, their kids are probably around that age, yeah. I mean, there's so many things that they did that was different. There are other things, like, you know, like they did, like, the anti-bullying stuff, and that's something that's a time. So it's indicative of the time, yeah.
I liked that. Actually, when I went to university, there was, like, a squad like that. It was, like, I think they were called Foot Patrol. So you could call them...
Foot Patrol?
Foot Patrol.
Aren't those the bad guys from Ninja Patrol? Oh, no, that's the Foot.
But yeah, basically you could call them if you had to walk home from somewhere and they'd come walk with you. Which is good. Because,
cool.
You know, it's like, you know, so a girl doesn't have to walk home alone or whoever, right? Like, just...
So like, but like, much like Uber, what's the criteria for you to meet Foot Patrol? Because when someone who's a perv ideally want to become...
No, it's students.
Yeah.
No, it's students. And,
I know.
And much like, no offense to all the Foot Patrol people, but much like this movie, they tend to be more like kind of nerd geekier. Like,
oh, get behind me, I'll protect you. Like,
yeah. And they'll just like, I remember I called them once for shits and walked with them, and you know, they're why not, right?
Yo, I need to come walk home with me. I need someone to talk to.
Yeah, I mean that's what they do. So
you walk a lot of cool people home sometimes. Smart, you're making small talk with these guys at this time. Like, what are you doing? Like,
they're nice people. They were just talking. Yeah,
I can assume so. Like, it's like they're obviously kind of dorks, probably. But
yeah,
like,
that's the thing. Yeah. Like this committee and this. So well, my point is that I really like had a good laugh about that committee, and then they use it, which is good, decent writing, like, later, because the girls meet them at school, so they call the fucking patrol to huddle around them, and they're obviously way younger, so it's a little different. They have this, like, chant, like, bullying is bad, whatever they say.
Bullies, get back!
Which I liked.
All the kids are embarrassed.
Let me fucking ask you, because I haven't asked you yet, like, we haven't really said, like, did you like the movie?
Well, I think we've hit that point now. Yeah, I did. I actually really liked it. Like, I liked it. I had a feeling I was going to like it, because I looked at it and I was like, it seems to check the boxes of stuff that I normally like, you know, like a well thought out comedy. I don't like just like a slapstick, like, you know, fucking raunchy, like. That's fair. I hate those
it's
comedies.
A little different from everything.
Yes, and it was different, and it was refreshing to see.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy. I loved the acting. I like the acting by the kids. I think all three of those kids.
Yeah, they were decent.
Have potential to possibly be a lot bigger in the future. Like, I don't think we've seen the last of these kids.
We just need them to stay away from drugs, like they do in the movie.
Yeah, right. Whether or not that's gonna happen. Hashtag Viper Lounge. We're gonna
my god,
we're gonna find out.
We're back to that. Are we?
Well, you brought up River Phoenix. So like, I wasn't gonna.
Indirectly.
But But yeah, no. If I had to give it a rating, I give it I give it a 7.5. I give it a solid 7.5.
That's pretty high, but I think I would do 7. I might do 6.5. I didn't like it as much.
Okay.
I thought it was fine. It just wasn't what I was looking for. The whole
it didn't capture that kids on bikes thing. Is that what we can just call these kids on bikes movies?
I think we should call them.
If this isn't a fucking, it's got to be a term.
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it is. Yeah. But it didn't capture that quite. But it doesn't really have to be that. I mean, they are kids on bikes, so I think they are implying that they're making a sort of movie like that. But the worst thing to me was the whole that drug drone dilemma. That wasn't enough. That wasn't. So this is also a coming of age movie. So despite going to the party to make out with a girl or kiss a girl is a coming of age moment, you also need that crazy thing to happen to you in the middle, which is that drug thing that changes your life in a coming of age story that makes you a man or whatever. That makes you, I'm not a kid anymore. But they didn't have that in my opinion.
No, they didn't.
These girls that want their MDMA back, they were antagonists.
It feels like it was kind of just put in there.
You can be scared of these girls that are older than you that'll, I don't know, be up or whatever. But that wasn't enough for me. There wasn't I wanted a Stand By Me fucking dead body.
A showdown where he's pointing.
He has a fucking gun in that movie. Yeah, that's more real. You want something real. What we went through when we were kids, nothing fucking crazy. But
there could be, you could argue, we could make an argument that there's a few homages to that in itself, where I guess we could kind of just say we're going into spoilers now of it.
Yeah, definitely.
But you can make the argument that there is the homage to that. There's one scene where the kid holds up he just holds up to them and is is that a gun you're making with your hand?
Yeah,
and he's
I guess that was kind of an homage.
Yeah. And then also when they're in the frat house when he goes to get the MDMA. And he says to, and he's holding a paintball gun. He's like, just give me the fucking drugs and this is all going to be over with. That, to me, kind of was a resemblance to the Stand By Me showdown at the end with Keith Sutherland and the bad guys. And the guy's like, come on, kid. He's like, don't fuck around. And then, obviously,
right. So do you think there was a thing where they had wanted to make it a little, less R-rated or something like that? They wanted to make it not as dark by having those a little bit lighter. It's not a gun, it's a paintball gun, type of thing.
Yeah, and I think it was just to add to the zaniness of it.
But if the movie is a bunch of kids saying fuck a lot and whatever, then I think put that darkness in there.
But I think what they're saying is kids say fuck now anyway.
I know, but the point is
yeah, I understand what you're saying.
By having those kids swear and be this is how kids really are, then show kids how they really are.
Don't give us half.
Don't give us just the one.
Yeah, one side of it.
Yeah.
But maybe that's
But to be fair, not every kid goes through the woods and fucking experiences a gun and a dead body and shit. Totally
also
fair.
True, yeah. But there is other elements of where it was funny, where it was noticeable, where they did good. I thought they did good jobs of writing with where the kids would say fuck and shit and stuff, but yet they don't know what anal beads are, and they often confuse terminology. I can't think of it
which is totally true.
They're mixing up. They're like, why don't you stick it? What does he say? He's like, why don't you? He's like, this tampon. He's like, girls stick it up their ass so they don't get pregnant. It's shit like that.
Which is totally realistic, and they do it in a really good way, not in an unbelievable way. They find.
But I think that brings it down to that level, though. Stuff some minor writing like that kind of brings it more down, to that level of
totally.
that they are kids, right?
Just to be clear with everyone or let everyone know, cue everyone in. They find a box of their parents' sex toys, and there's
the Thor kids,
and it says, and they call it anal beads because
anal beads, yeah.
They don't know what it is, and the kid.
Anal rapist.
Which is the kid ends up giving, which is weird. Anal beads to the girl as a necklace because he thinks it's a necklace,
and she's like, "Oh, it smells like shit."
But anyway, I was gonna say something funny where why that's believable. I remember when I was in elementary school. And a kid was telling me about a condom that I don't know, he saw somewhere, and I thought it was fucking a whole underwear piece. Legitimately. So
I also always, when I was a kid, I thought edible undergarments were like fruit by the foot.
they kind of are.
Yeah, they are. But like, I thought it was just strictly for eating.
Oh, yeah, you just eat a pair of underwear?
Yeah. I was like, oh, why are people eating these?
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, that shit was very realistic and yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, like they added some elements of like you know, when you're a kid, you're naive and stuff, you don't know.
I think though it wasn't as funny as I wanted it to be.
Really, I had a couple good laughs. Also, I was probably strong on my gourd, but like
I had a couple, but I wanted it to be more.
When they were running across the highway, I don't know why I found that so funny.
Which is another thing I remember.
That was fucked up. Now that I'm looking back on it, I was like, oh no. Like, I was like, why was no one stopping and be like, get off the highway?
Well, it's a highway. People are going. You can't stop because it's like you can't.
No,
slow
but
down.
they started running over when traffic stops, right? Like there's a traffic jam, and they're like, okay, let's go.
Oh, right.
And it picks back up, right?
Yeah,
and one lady's like,
which is clever.
One lady's like, what are you kids doing? And they're like, shut up, lady. And then like they keep going, and I'm like, if I was there, I would have been like, what are you doing? I would have gotten out of my car and been like,
that's what I was thinking. I would have saw the kids and stopped and
I would have
the
stopped,
people behind them to let them go across because there's no way for them to get across.
Yeah, and all three of them run across. And they start.
Which I was gonna say I remember doing as a kid.
Oh, you ran across the highway?
Yeah.
You're fucked.
So it was. It wasn't that type of highway. It was like. I think it was Mississauga or it was. Yeah, it was across Palladium. There's There's like I don't know what road.
Oh, I know what that is. Yeah.
But it's like a busy. You know, it's a highway, but it's. You know, it's like a...
That's a highway.
Yeah, it's a highway.
You're off to 401 after that.
Right, but it's not like that type of highway. Like, maybe it was still like 80 kilometers an hour type highway. But we ran across it, like, as a joke.
To get the Palladium.
To see if, you know, without looking, like, as cars are coming, to see if we could get through. Because we were like...
Because you're a kid, you're 12. Dumb. Yeah, you're dumb. You don't know any better.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, you're like, you could get hit by a car.
So I remember doing that. And like,
I used to do that shit all the time, too. We used to go bike riding and just run through traffic and stuff. Like, and I'm like, you look back on it now and you're like, fuck, that's dumb. Like, so you can't really fault kids when you see them doing it. You're just like, it's your best interest to be like, all right, you fucking idiot. Like, don't do this. Like,
yeah. There's another connection to The Office, which is Stephen Merchant.
Really?
What do you mean? So remember they were trying to get the $600 and they have that expensive card?
Oh my god, that was Stephen Merchant.
Yeah, it's Stephen Merchant.
Oh fuck, I forgot. I was like Stephen Merchant was in this? That's right.
Yeah, they need $600 and they have this expensive Magic the Gathering card that's worth like $600 or whatever. So they might sell it. And the guy that comes to buy it is Stephen Merchant.
And he ends up buying the sex doll.
So I wonder if that's a connection. Like,
that's gotta be.
Yeah, if they're his friends from The Office.
Oh, it has to be, yeah.
But what do you, like, did you like him in it?
Oh, I thought he was I forgot he was even in it when you brought that up. I was like, that's right, that was him. Because he's only in it very, very briefly.
Yeah, and they have this, they decide not to sell the card, but they have this.
His dad's sex doll.
Yeah, their parents have a sex doll that they think is a CPR doll.
Yeah, they keep calling it a CPR doll.
And the Stephen Merchant buys it.
Oh yeah, and then he buys it off for $600 and he's walking out of there and he's like, you idiots, I would have paid $1,000.
Yeah, which is hilarious.
And that comes into play when the car accident thing happens and the doll flies out the window.
Which is kind of funny, but I was like, what are the
I was like,
chances?
what exactly? I was like, in that highway, at that specific time.
And I also felt bad. He spent a lot of money on that.
Yeah, it looks like he needed it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, he was funny in it.
Oh yeah, I love that guy.
Where they're like, they open the door and they're like, "Are you a pedophile?" I was like, "No, I'm not a pedophile."
Also, the guy who played the cop in that as well is also in a couple things too. I can't remember. He's in.
Yeah, he was very familiar.
He's in The Office.
Was he not the guy from? Oh, he was in Promising Young Woman. Oh, I think he's one of the buddies at the beginning, right?
Yes, right. He's the guy who's sitting at the table with Adam Brody, and he's like, "You're not gonna do it."
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's very familiar. Like I've seen him.
Also in I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson.
Yeah, he's one of the main. He's one of the main sketch comedy guys with him. Fuck you, Harley. Oh, there's a new season of that coming out next month, eh?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that'll be dope.
If you haven't seen it, check it out. I Think You Should Leave Now with Tim Robbins.
Oh, it's dope.
Probably one of the best sketch comedy shows I've seen in a long time. It's fucking weird, but...
Did you watch Auntie Donna's?
Oh, fuck, I love that one, too.
So I've been watching Auntie Donna's for years, because they have a YouTube show.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, it's so funny, man. Like, it's amazing. It's a little different, because it's just
YouTube.
Just sketches, too. Like, Auntie Donna has that kind of, like... Or Big House of Fun has that kind of, like... what would you call it? Like a structure to the episode, theme, or
like
whatever.
there's a theme, right, to it,
yeah.
and like that's what the comedy, like that's where it kind of like focuses around.
Like fuck, you should
But
watch
the YouTube
oh,
stuff.
it's so funny.
Okay,
I like it more, but like
the show
I
thought was fucking
it's really
hilarious,
good.
and it was
really good.
It was very well written. You know what's funny too? It's that we recently started rewatching like Workaholics and stuff, and then like I was explaining to Cass, she was like, I've seen these guys like before and stuff. I'm like, yeah, well, obviously it's Adam Devine, like Devine, you've seen him in Devine, whatever, you've seen him in all kinds of shit.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, but they started on YouTube too as well. Like that's how they started, right? All four of them,
the musical beers.
Yeah, musical beers. Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah, where it's like.
And it's like there's gonna be 2 hits
every time. Yeah, but
there's gonna be 2 hits. Me hitting you and Bob to Bob at Kid Rock playing.
Yeah, musical beers. It's like every time someone takes a sip of beer, a dope song plays. But then when Anders takes a sip of beer, a sad song plays because his girlfriend broke up with him or something. He's depressed. He's like, "Oh man, you got to get back into it." And then at the end, he takes he's like, "All right, I got this." He takes a sip and just ball with the ball. And they're like, "All right." I mean, not great, but you're getting there. Yeah.
It's funny because I looked it up because like they're all like Adam, Blake, and Carl are all the same age, and Anders is like 40. They're all 36.
Oh, really?
And Anders is 40.
Oh, okay. I know they met in school.
Yeah, so they all must have met in like college, right? Probably.
Yeah, and they were in like a fucking
improv.
Yeah, thing together, and then they created their YouTube thing. Yeah,
which like is fucking like even when I was rewatching Workaholics, I hadn't seen it in like because Workaholics been out for like 10 years, right?
True.
Like that's fucking 2010 was the first season, right? Yeah. So going back and watching it, I'm like, is this dated? Still fucking funny. Yeah. Like still holds up, and it's still like the way it's.
I remember like it being so smart at the time because it's just like.
It was different.
Fucked up college kids, and that's what it's like. We're kind of thematically what we're saying now, like showing people as they really are. Yeah, like that's kind of how college kids really are.
And those characters seem to emulate their real life personalities, right?
Yeah, which is another smart thing, which is something that people obviously did a lot after that.
Yeah, because it's genuine, right? Yeah, because you know that because they keep their real names, right? Like when people like that's kind of where you get a feel for it, right? You know, well, actually, you can make the argument that Curb is the big one to do that, right? Yeah, where Larry just. But that's a little
different. Those are like people that we know, so even if. It's a like celebrity playing themselves. It's still this like persona that we know.
Yeah, also true. Yeah. But like, or like, well, then later on you would get like the obviously like what's that big one like Nick Offerman playing just basically himself.
Oh
like,
fair enough. Yeah,
we didn't know that was a character, right? Like I didn't know that was. I thought that was a character up until like I'd seen interviews with him where he's like, oh no, he's like that's how I really am. Like, he just drinks whiskey and does woodworking in his spare time and like and is like an outdoorsman.
Have you seen that one where he's the statue?
No, I don't think so.
They unveil. I can't remember what team it is. It's hockey. It might be Chicago. I can't remember where he's from. But they're unveiling a new statue, and it's a statue of him, like a bronze statue. And after 20 minutes, like his hand starts to
it's just him.
And he has a glass of whiskey and he just like drinks it and like very, very, very slowly, and he just sits there for an hour drinking the whiskey, but sitting like completely still.
Oh, and it's actually him.
Yeah, it's him. Just paint. He's got paint on. His eyes are closed. It's so
man, good. He's so funny. Like that's the thing. He's just a real and that's why I like him because it's genuine, right? Because it's not it's not bullshit. Like you feel like he's actually like that, right?
Yeah.
And like
that's awesome.
So yeah,
Good Boys.
Good movie.
So you're gonna recommend this movie? It sounds like.
I would recommend it.
I would recommend it.
I think it's like a date night movie if you want to watch it with like,
if you like these kind of like kids on bikes movies. Like it's obviously I keep saying it's not like the old ones, but it's
kids with drones.
It's at least cool to see the most modern version of that because that's definitely what this is.
Yeah, right. And that's what, like it's cool to see the evolution of it. Yeah. Like I would like to go back and watch and it's giving me the hankering to go back and watch like more some classic 80s kids getting into trouble like some weird science or So
what you said is absolutely right. This is more of a super bad. That's what I'm thinking now.
Well, it follows all the same rules as super bad, right? It's like you gotta go to a party. Yeah. There's a roadblock. How do we get past this roadblock? You have to go steal something. You have something that someone wants.
So now I'm thinking I'm too stuck on the kids on bikes thing. But they put them on bikes.
But they put them on bikes.
They're
on bikes the whole time.
But they kind of advertised it that way, like I said in the last episode.
Hey, Stranger Things.
Yeah, the guy calls them Stranger Things. Like, so it seems like that's what they were making. But it turns out they're making like kind of a younger Superbad. It is kind of a mix.
Yeah.
But,
well, also Evan Goldberg's also involved in it too.
He is.
Yeah, he's one of the producers.
Oh, okay.
So like, there you go. There's your Superbad. There's your Superbad element.
Yeah. Fair enough.
If you wanted to make the argument, Thor is Jonah Hill, the other kid's Michael Cera, and the other kid's basically Fogel. Like,
yeah, Lucas is Fogel.
Yeah.
He's the nerdy one.
And then
gotcha.
Yeah, like it follows the same like, you know, like.
Mm-hmm.
Like
but I still leave having this hankering for a kids on bike.
Yeah, like it didn't like did it fully.
It didn't fulfill it.
Yeah,
it didn't fulfill that void or whatever.
Maybe Stranger Things season 4 will fill that void for you.
A little bit. Probably a little bit. Is there anything like about Good Boys that you didn't like though?
Well, I wouldn't say like disliked. I wouldn't say dislike. Dislike is not a word I would use for this movie because I generally liked most of the stuff that was in there. I just think it could have been a bit better.
Yeah. What did you think about... One thing I actually liked was the drama teacher that like was like, I used to live in Hollywood, and then you find out at the end,
La La Land, right?
Yeah, and then you find out at the end the play they do is just like his story of getting into cocaine and shit.
Yeah, and the kids are like doing cocaine and the parents are like, what the fuck? I buckled at that.
So I liked those moments, but one thing I was like, I wish they kind of did his character a little bit more. He was a funny character. They didn't use him.
Yeah, kind of same thing with Forte.
Those two scenes. Yeah,
but
exactly.
I think you don't want to overshadow.
It's about the kids.
It's about the kids, and I think that's why they went with relative unknowns with the girls, is because they didn't want them to overshadow them.
True.
Like the one of the girls I had recognized from something, but like outside of that, I was like, okay, I didn't know who they were. But that was the beauty of it, right? It kind of like you don't want to put someone big in there that's gonna like you're gonna be like, you know, like the Forte thing. I was like, okay, Forte's in this, and then he was gone. And honestly, with the plot and what they did do that was kind of cool is it didn't take me where I thought it was going.
Yeah.
Right? When they have the drugs, I'm like, okay, someone's going to take these. I was like, obviously the kids aren't going to take that because you're not going to put a movie out there with a bunch of 10 or 12-year-olds doing ecstasy. But I was like, is Forte going to end up taking them by accident?
Okay.
Is like one of the other kids' dad's going to take them by accident? I was like, is there going to be a classic, you know, like comedy mix-up? That never really happens, right? Mm. And there's a couple, they ended up just giving it to the cop and like, you know, there's a couple scenes that kind of like, it makes it look like it's going one way. Or like when when they're flying it back, they're like, we're going to make it. And it's going down the chimney. And it's shredding the whole everything up.
But that's the one thing I was kind of like, all right, so in the end, they didn't fucking solve anything. They didn't.
No. It was kind of
still went to the party.
It was a very, I call those Raiders of the Lost Ark moments where it's just like, it was all for naught, really, you know?
Deus Ex Machina, I guess you could call it, which is like when the characters don't actually
accomplish anything.
They don't actually like save the day. It's another force that saves the day.
Yeah, because that's the big thing. Everyone always says that, like in Raiders of the Lost Ark, they're like, if he hadn't have been there at all, it would have essentially just ended the same, right?
Yeah.
The Nazis would have opened the box and they would have fucking all died.
Yeah,
it's just he was there at the end.
Yeah, so that's Deus Ex Machina.
Okay, cool. That's the actual term for that.
It means like God is the machine, meaning like not the characters doing anything, it's God doing something.
Fuck, that's deep.
Yeah, it's Greek.
Yeah, oh, cool.
But I mean, what are some other moments like what are some other Deus Ex Machina? Like you could kind of say there's one in Jurassic Park. Which
I was just thinking Jurassic Park.
One of my favorite movies, but it's like the raptors are gonna kill them, and then the T-Rex comes in and kills the raptors. That's Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, it was gonna happen anyway.
Like somebody else solves the problem.
Yeah,
which is bad. Something you want to avoid in writing because it's supposed to be the characters through how they've grown, how they can accomplish something that like I don't know.
So it's essentially kind of like character building for nothing.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool. Like if you think about it.
It depends what it is.
Or like if you want to look at like American Beauty, what would you say about like American Beauty? Because American Beauty, like it's that one's written from backwards kind of thing, you know? Like it's like he's like, I'm gonna die. Like you know he's gonna die. It's just the point up until then, right? Mm-hmm. Does that fall under that? Like it's gonna happen regardless, like kind of thing?
I think no. Because Deus Ex Machina has to be another force coming in. Because everything that he does leads him to being, spoilers alert for American Beauty.
American Beauty, yeah.
Spoilers alert for
K-Pax.
American Beauty. But, well, like you said, K-Pax. Like you said, he dies at the end. We know that at the beginning. But
K-Pax is going to get beamed up regardless.
Yeah. Everything that he does leads to him getting shot by the guy. Because, like, he puts himself in that situation through doing all these changing and doing all these things he wouldn't normally do to get there. So that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, okay.
Like, that's good character.
So he created that path.
Yeah.
That path would not exist without him. And which is true, yeah. Which, like, also, let's just look at, like, when the dad comes in and tries to make out with them. He's like, whoa, I'm not like that. And I just remember being like, oof, too old.
Oh, God.
Whoa, I'm not like that, friend. No, he's much too old. He's like, I'm more interested in your son with the bag.
Brutal. Well,
that's what the dad thinks is happening.
Well, but
right?
Also,
which is kind of fucked up. Because that guy's a minor.
He's into the girl that's a minor, too.
Also fucked up. Yeah, and he gets a chance to do it, and then he pussies out. You know, in real life, that motherfucker's not pussying out. He didn't pussy out, and that's why he's not in the movies anymore.
God.
Yeah. Anyway, that guy. Oh, fuck that guy. Like, I used to love that guy as an actor, and I was like, and then I found it just broke me. That one hurt me. Like that one broke me a little.
It's not only that
there's a lot of movies that he's in that he tarnished a lot of movies for me. Yeah. Like he tarnished Seven. Like Seven, he played the bad guy, rightfully so. He dies in the end, but like spoilers, if you haven't seen Seven, it came out in '93. Too bad. But yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, even House of Cards, before all that happened, I was watching House of Cards, and I was like, man, this is good. I was like, this is just good television. Sorkin show is great.
Now, even when you see him in something that he used to be in, it's different. Like
it ruins
he's gross.
It ruins it. It's tarnished it.
He used to be like he was a clever actor. Now it's just gross. Now you can't get over that. His characters, they just seem a lot more gross.
Exactly. Like his character in American Beauty.
Well, especially, but yeah.
Especially, whoa, not even just that one. I'm thinking of, Seven, obviously. He seems like he plays a psychopath, but, fuck, I'm trying to think of what's another. Oh, is it? What's that? Oh, Usual Suspects too.
Yeah.
Also, fuck. God damn it! Now I'm just blanking on Spacey movies.
You're spacing on
Spacey. Oh man, I remember like how they wrote him out of House of Cards. They're like, he's dead, and I was like, oh. I was like, they should have wrote him out like in K-Pax.
I don't think they really cared. They were just like, let's get rid of him.
I think they should have just like tied it into K-Pax and like he's the president and he's like, my planet needs me, and then he just disappears.
Yeah, that would have been sick. Yeah,
that would have been great. That would have been a great ending too.
Yeah.
But then they tried to continue doing it. Why?
I have no idea.
And then it
I don't know. They didn't want their show to end.
Yeah, kind of like in Roseanne, when Roseanne said a lot of racist shit, and then they killed her off.
What?
Yeah.
They
Roseanne
killed her off?
I think they killed her off. I'm not a big fan of Roseanne, but Roseanne.
At that point, just end the show. It's called Roseanne.
Well, no, now it's the Connors because that's their last name. But I think what the thing was that it got picked up again. Like it was a massive show in the 90s, like huge, and then it got brought back, and then the month that it was back on the air, she said some fucking she tweeted out a picture of this congresswoman with a picture of like one of the old school girl like Planet of the Apes pictures from like like the Heston movies, and she was like, don't they look similar?
No.
Yeah, swear to God, that's what she did. And then fucking obviously everyone was like, and she'd done racist shit like that way before, right? Like obviously she's like fucked, and that was the last straw. So they canceled the show, and then there was this huge uproar because they were like, well, there's 5,000 people that work on this show that are gonna lose their jobs over this. So the studio decided to keep it going with like they killed her off, and they brought in another woman, I think, and Goodman stayed on.
Fucking Hollywood.
Yeah, right. But they wouldn't drop it. But like, I was like, you can't. I was like, just end it. I was like,
I agree.
I understand the keeping of the jobs thing, but like, it's tarnished. Like it's done. It's over. Yeah. But anyway.
Anything else you want to say about?
I will say, Good Boy is good. Kevin Spacey, bad. Bad. Bad, Spacey. Bad.
Good boys. Would you call them good fellas?
Good fellas. Can you just
There's
picture...
no connection to that movie at all.
Yeah, just put them in Goodfellas costumes, have those kids do it.
That'd
You know?
be sick.
Yeah.
They should have done Goodfellas play at the end. That would have been funny.
Do I amuse you, huh? Is that what it is?
Funny?
Or is that Casino?
No, that's Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, yes. Yeah, am I funny?
Funny how?
Amuse you, huh? Funny, huh? Yeah, because that's Goodfellas with Ray Liotta. Casino was also Bobby and
also with Bobby and Joe Pesci.
And Joe Pesci again. Also
Yeah.
Scorsese. And then
that duo's in a lot of his movies for sure.
yeah, and don't forget, nobody can call him Bobby except for
Scorsese and Joe
Pesci.
Pesci. don't you dare try.
And if you see him on the streets, and
kick
you're like, with his nice shoes, these shoes.
These shoes.
All right, well that's a wrap.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.
It's Tyler Owen signing off.
All right. Off the airwaves. The light's going off.
The lights go.